Welcome to episode 68 of the Geek podcast. This is Vaughn.
Chris?
Adrian and Joey are not here, so hopefully they'll be here on the next one. But we're going to try to do every 2 weeks, every Thursday. Should be able to upload it by the weekend. So trying to be more consistent for you, so we're not a bunch of fucking flakes. But life sucks. So we're trying. I'll start with what we've been playing lately. It's been a long time.
It's been a long time. I'm playing a little bit of everything. Finished God of War.
That's a game
Finished the story of God of War. Now I'm working through, the end game content of it, which is tough.
The game is not the easiest.
It's not the easiest game in the world, but it's awesome. Definitely the leading contender for me for Game of the Year. I don't know how it couldn't be.
For anybody.
Yeah, it's
unless you don't like action games or well-made games.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely in the conversation of best game I ever played. Just so well done, everything I wanted it to be, and more things that I didn't even expect, and amazing moments. And are we doing spoilers here?
When did that game come out?
April. Yeah, 4/20.
That's right.
It is July.
Spoilers for God of War, if you haven't played it.
Yeah, spoilers.
I don't know how.
32. Okay, and goddamn, going back and getting the blades.
That was I didn't see that coming.
Like that whole hour
Mm-hmm.
surrounding that of like when Atreus is laying on the bed, and then he's like, I have to go back. At first, I thought he meant like I'm going back to Greece.
Okay.
Like I'm gonna go back. Like he needed to get something or deal with something.
Yeah.
And then he got in the boat, and I was like, fuck, here we go. And then I realized like as soon as I made the connection of what he's doing, because I'm like, okay, he's going back. He's gonna get like weapon because fighting those ice creatures. And was making no progress whatsoever against him. And as soon as he pulled blades out, I'm like, it was instant goosebumps, and it was the best nostalgia moment you could do.
Because you could see the remorse in his face, like, this is a past I didn't want to go back to.
Yes. And they spent so much of the game, I wanted to know what the hell had happened between 3 and this game. And they never really, even by the end of it, they never really touched on it. And they spent so long just grazing over the details of the past and never really giving you anything satisfying about it. So when you got the blades, it was like, this is the only tangible thing that you're getting so far about the past.
Right, you get those moments of when you're on the underside of the tree and he sees the pottery of himself.
Yeah.
And he's like,
oh my god, and the drinking moment.
That was really cute.
Yeah. But he sees he's on the pot.
And it reminds it of his past life, and he's like, tosses it and it shatters.
Right. The only thing I wish we would have gotten is Atreus asking about the blades.
Yeah, I guess I could see him viewing it as just another weapon, but it would have been a nice story as to why he has those blades and how he's so good with them.
Yeah,
and, the story behind them. Yeah, it was cool. It was wrapped in his Spartan clothing.
Right. But it's just because it felt like when they were on the mountain at the end and the bandages came off. Yeah. Or they floated off and he was having a moment. And Atreus just came and was like, can we go now? He was like, the fuck, kid? Back off.
Yeah, because I understand that, and it was more of them moving on to a new future. But that was a good moment. I liked seeing that. Finally, that's the last of his past that is falling off.
Right. It was like a peace moment.
It's cool how good those scars look on his arms. See each chain link on his arm.
And the reveal of who Atreus really is.
Which was actually something that they didn't come to a conclusion until very late in development.
Really? Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, the more you think about it, and I don't know a ton about Norse mythology, but when I started reading up about Loki and what he is in the mythology, it makes a lot of sense. That's what he is.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for a sequel. I am very, very excited for a sequel.
And it's not going to take as long as this one because they have the engine.
Oh yeah.
They even said that they had so much extra content that they want to put in this that
Right. They got cut.
yeah, who knows how far along they're already at with this game.
Core's not going to do it though.
I mean,
does that concern you?
Slightly, but then I reflect back on how the other God of Wars were done, and they did the same exact thing.
Because God of War 1 was not Corey.
God of War
came on 2, right?
God of War 1 was David Jaffe.
Okay.
David Jaffe is the originator of that God of War mythos.
Okay.
Corey came on for 2. I forget the guy's name that did 3.
But Corey was part of 3, right?
I think he helped a little bit.
He was like
with
a producer or something.
Yeah.
And then it's totally different team did Ascension.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, it works. Uncharted wasn't the same people. That started off with Amy Hennig, correct?
Amy Hennig did 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah. And then
4 was Neil Druckmann and Bruce.
Straightley. Yeah.
And Bruce left. Neil's now
Last was
one of the higher ups at Naughty Dog now.
right. Yeah. So I loved every second of God of War.
I wanted to backhand Atreus when he started to get that cocky attitude.
Could have fucking killed him.
I would have smacked the shit out of him, giving you that lip, and you're talking to him like you normally do when you were with him before, and he's giving you lip. I'm like, boy, I will destroy you.
And it came on so fast, I was like, okay, this whole God thing is getting way out of hand.
I saw that coming with him. I'm like, the second you tell him he's a god, he's going to get a big head. And that's exactly what happened. So I was a little disappointed that I saw it coming, but I was also like, you did a good job with how you went about it.
Right. Well, as soon as he started shit-talking the dwarves,
Oh, yeah.
like, oh, fuck you. No.
I felt really bad because at no point were they a jerk to you.
Right.
In that whole game.
Yeah. And the one was like a grumpy person, but like he was always there to help.
Right, he helped you.
And yeah, so
and then the timid brother was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, didn't even have the guts to like stick up for himself there. It's kind of like, oh, Jesus. To make matters worse.
And then he shoots an arrow at Kratos. I'm like, okay, I'm going to destroy you.
Yeah, fuck you. Well, shit, we're in this situation because of
you. Yeah, he killed. Oh, yeah, when he said that, I was like,
well, that's when he also learned that the restraint that Kratos has learned to not rip Atreus in half at the waist.
Oh, yeah.
Because old Kratos would have done that. Son or not.
He wouldn't have hesitated. Would have eaten him.
Would have touched up the ash on his body.
Cover that beard in ash.
Wait till Atreus finds out about that. So what's the story behind your markings? Alright.
Would you really have to even go down that route?
The only way that I think it gets addressed is somebody trying to manipulate Atreus.
Right, like saying something like, did he tell you what happened to his first child?
Yeah, like, here, this is his past. Mm-hmm. Because they laid the groundwork for killing of the family, and Kratos never addressed that. Addressed he killed his father, but never addressed his first family. Yeah. So they laid the groundwork for that to be addressed down the road, which Atreus seems to be able to grasp the whole idea of the whole father thing.
Yeah.
But how would he handle his wife and daughter?
Right. Even less so his wife, just the fact that he had another kid.
Right.
And now no longer has one.
Right. Yeah. That's a whole bag of worms with that. Mm-hmm. So many possibilities of what could make this amazing. So I'm excited. They have successfully resurrected this franchise.
Wow, he snaps with that guy's neck and he said, this is where the cycle ends.
The cycle ends here. Oh my god. And the music behind the entire game was fantastic.
Right when you get the blades to like the whole music plays.
Yes.
Like, okay.
Oh my god. Like, and the way that they chose a theme, like a melody for this, and to use it so many different ways, in so many different contexts, and be effective however they needed it. Like, in that whole aspect of the whole ending. And then when he's telling Atreus the story, and then the whole cycle ends here, then the music cues are so powerful.
Yeah, when he says
so well done.
Zeus said the same thing to him in the third game.
I realized that because I went back to watch. I was showing my wife um, because she watched me play a lot of this God of War.
Mm-hmm.
But she and I weren't together when the old ones were out because it was like 8 years ago or something. So I showed her the ending of 3. Yeah, because that's where he gets impaled with the sword from Zeus, and then left for dead. Or is that 2?
2, he gets impaled by Zeus. 3, at the very, very end, he kills himself with the sword.
That's it. Kills himself. And it'd been so long since I played those games, and I noticed that line came up, and I was like, "Oh my god,
yeah,
that's perfect."
Mm-hmm. There's so many great little moments like that in that game.
Yeah. Other than that, beat Detroit Become Human. Did you play that?
I did play that. Platinum that game.
I did that entire game. Me and my wife, because she loves the movie type games and the decisions, and she would say how she wanted it to go. Sometimes I would listen, sometimes I would not. Sometimes I would screw up and not do the right thing, and then she got mad. Loved it. I thought it was great. It was everything I wanted to be.
It's one of David Cage's best games. I know a lot of people give him shit, and a lot of people critique the way he has dialogue and characters in his games, but I felt this was a very well crafted, and if anything, look at the way that game is built. You have to give him or that team props for just the spider web of options that come down from that game,
and how well it works and runs.
Yeah,
performance-wise, even. I mean, that game being able to process all those actions and decisions you're making, and to make it flow seamlessly, no matter what route you take.
And it changes. Like it legit changes the way
right.
dialogue happens, how characters interact. Even characters within those branching trees have different dialogue options, which change how they interact within each thing. So,
very moving game.
Oh yeah.
I remember the Paris Games Week when that was the first time they showed off the trailer of the dad and the daughter.
Oh yeah, the abuse.
Yeah, the abuse.
Spoilers.
And people, well, there was in a trailer for it, and people were like, because it was the same one that they showed off The Last of Us too, with the extreme violence.
Oh yeah, with the hanging.
People were like, why are we going in this direction? And I think in this game it works perfectly.
Yeah. It's not even that was like the biggest focus. Like it's important for a particular character's arc, but it wasn't even a huge focus point for the overall story.
Yeah. And the fact that you can, just like in all of his games, well, particularly I'm thinking Heavy Rain, but you can screw up and lose your character.
Yeah.
And their story's done. And that happened to me. I wasn't able to complete an arc.
Did you die at the highway part?
I died in the station. The bus station. Spoilers. For Detroit. Trying to get a ticket for the bus.
Oh.
Searching for the ticket. I couldn't find the ticket. And I turned a corner and there was a guard.
Okay.
And he asked us for our ID. And I gave him the ID. And then he scanned us. And that was it.
Oh, was that when you get Luther and you go up to the gate?
Luther was dead.
Okay. So you and Alice were at the gate and they asked what you're doing out here? Or did you get past the
gate? I got past the gate.
Okay.
Because I had left her sensor on. Hot cold sensor. So she shivered, and which sold him. Okay. And then we got through to the bus station, and we needed to find a ticket, and couldn't find it. Like, I was looking, and I don't know if I was missing something obvious, but, in the whole crowd of people, I turned a corner, didn't see the guard there, because I was looking in the other direction. And there he was. And it was literally that. You saw the scanner go up, and then it, dinged or something, and then it went black, and you heard the gunshots, and I was like, oh my god. And that was it. Yeah, there's a family on the left-hand side that you can talk to, like a mom and a daughter. Really? And they're like, we're hoping to get out of here tonight. And they ask us, and we're like, yeah, we're same here. They stand up, and tickets fall out of the purse on the ground. And you have the choice of, you take the tickets, and then there's, the thing, keep it or give it back. Right. Alice wants you to give it back. Of course. Right. So you can either give it back or keep it.
fucking kept those tickets. Fuck
Right.
you people. You're human. You're not being discriminated against.
Right. Exactly.
So I kept it and got on the bus and got over
Yeah. My friend got through,
there. Mm-hmm.
and then there was something about a boat,
There's a boat, yeah.
and that's where he died.
Okay.
So he didn't even complete the arc.
Mm-hmm.
But and that was the one I was most concerned about making all the right choices on.
Yeah.
Because I wanted that one to go well. And the fact that that was the arc I fucked up, that had me so pissed.
Yeah.
But
you noticed so many different locations with that arc.
Gotten killed so many times
Mm-hmm.
in that. And my wife was devastated because I left Luther on the boat to die when he got attacked.
Did you save him in Jericho? Like when he gets shot in the leg? Was he on the Jericho boat?
That's where I left him.
Oh, you left him there? Okay.
Yeah. Because
You monster.
well, it was one of those things that I was like, I knew
decision
a split-second decision, and I'm like, if this is what gets Alice killed, I can't risk that. Because everything was moving so fast. I'm like, this is one of those moments where they're really trying to test you. And I left them, my wife flipped. She was pissed. But, yeah. I went back and I started replaying some of the scenes to see how they go.
Yeah.
But that game's kind of monotonous to do that because there's no skipping of things. You have to play a full scene out for
right, depending on where you jump into it.
Yeah, if you're doing like a portion you've done before, you can't skip dialogue, and there's checkpoints, but they don't always work well.
Right, sometimes it's after the point you want to see, so you have to start way forward, and
yes,
if you lost them at a certain point, you literally have to play from where they died and succeed to get to the point that you want to see. So,
right,
platinum in that game is a nightmare.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it.
Because there are magazines that you have to find that you can only find if you pick certain choices.
Right.
So
that one, yeah. So that was good. We also did Life is Strange.
This,
the first one.
First one? Okay.
First
I
one.
really like the first one.
Which was really good.
The second one, or I guess...
Really fucking weird at the end, though.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen Twin Peaks.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it went real Twin Peaks at the end. But they could have consolidated some of that down at the end. The weirdness and the drawing things out.
It's the unfortunate reality of an episodic game.
Right.
So they kind of, unless you plan it forward, that you kind of have to pad it out for a while.
Right. But that was good. I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to playing Before the Storm and the sequel.
Mm-hmm.
However that goes. But that one I was a little disappointed because at the end you get the big choice.
Yeah.
And we chose the one that seemed like a logical choice at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But I went back after we had finished it to do the other choice.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really let down by that and how that played out because it was like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It was over and it's like there's no
big difference.
Saving grace to it. And that was not satisfying at all. So I'm glad I made the choice I did.
If you liked Chloe a lot, the 1.5 sequel is pretty good.
That's the kid, right? Or no, Before the Storm.
That's Before the Storm, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I didn't play the kid one. The essentially demo to 2.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that.
Platinum Assassin's Creed Origins. I don't know if I talked about that last time.
Did you?
That's
I've not finished.
That is a fucking nightmare. Fucking nightmare. Because you have to find every one of the question marks on the map. And that map is stupid big.
Yes, it is.
Stupid big.
I need to get back into that. Because I was so pumped for that game, but just so much happened.
We do have to talk about something Assassin's Creed later, though. So.
Of course we do.
Played Vampire, which isn't a bad game. It's also not the best game. So, which is also made by the Life is Strange guys.
Okay.
Story, atmosphere, music, tone, great. Combat, not the best. Kind of janky.
I can ruin it.
It's a hack and slash. The powers and stuff are cool, but it's very janky.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you want a decent 8 to 10 hour game, it's a good vampire type game.
Okay. I have to check them out.
A bunch of little downloadable stuff. Nothing. There's nothing really big right now. It's the summertime,
Right.
so it's kind of the lull until September hits when we're all going to be poor. I'm buying that Pokemon game.
Let's go. I'm gonna get it too. Today I did my 10-hour binge of Destiny. Okay.
I saw you
For the
playing
first
Destiny.
time in like months.
That my PlayStation thing on computers is super slick.
Yeah, it's very slick.
I just keep it in the background while I'm at work. People are playing.
Yeah. Well, we're getting ready for Destiny Year 2.
Didn't they have some like accolades or something like that they do?
The Triumph started.
Triumphs?
They half launched, and then they're going to launch Endgame at the end of the month, and then be the lead into Year 2.
I'm sorry.
Well, it's. I mean, I don't think there's ever been a point in Destiny 2 at all that I've spent a whole day in it. Which right now I've let so much of it go that I have the false illusion of content, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
But there's so much to do, and I'm not going to be able to get these triumphs done.
Yeah.
They're so involved this time around, and I don't have the hours to do that. So I'll get enough to hopefully get the shirt. But before they never cared about you finishing all of them, and now there's an emblem if you get all of them. And I looked at the list of just what's announced so far, and I'm like, I can't do it. I can't get to rank 15 in Vanguard by the end of the season.
What do you have to do to get the shirt?
I think it's half of the list. I think it was. It doesn't really say.
Okay.
It tells you what the rewards are, but it doesn't. I don't know if they're listed in the order you get them or what. But yeah, it's weird because it's only on the website right now. It's not in game, so it's kind of difficult to read, and half the stuff's not showing up because they haven't announced what it is yet. So hopefully it's a little easier to do.
Mm-hmm.
But so far the stuff is very, very involved, and I did not have as much progress as I thought I would.
That's how they keep you in there.
So that'll be a thing, and then Year 2 will be a thing. But yeah, right now, I mean, it's very much that lull period.
Yeah.
The summer breeze. I hoped I would make more progress in games, but I just have not. It happens.
You have a house now.
Exactly. That takes a lot of time.
You're on summer break now?
Yep. For 2 more weeks.
Wow. Did you guys have to make up a lot of time?
Yeah, we went 2 days. Okay. We started later, so we went later, and then we had days like there were people in other states that were going to July, so
Gross.
I will take my
2 days
and be happy with it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I don't think I played anything outside of what you played other than downloadable stuff. So,
I still say fuck Crash Bandicoot.
I will get behind the fact that Crash 1 is. I can only speak in trophies nowadays, which is unfortunate. Crash 1 is the make or break with achievements, at least.
Uh-huh.
Like, if you can finish 1, you can finish 2 and 3.
Uh-huh.
But I totally understand the frustration that comes with Crash 1, because Crash 2 and 3 add so many quality of life things. Like we talked about, like being able to run, body slam, and just all these other abilities that you don't get in the first one. Like you can pretty much run or walk and jump in the first one.
Very basic.
Especially if you can remember 2 and 3, and then going back to 1, you miss a lot of things.
Uh-huh.
It's like playing Grand Theft Auto 4 and then playing Grand Theft Auto 5. Like there's so many improvements that they made compared to the other ones. So I totally understand the frustration.
Yeah.
Crash is not an easy game.
No.
Especially when they change some of the jumping mechanics around. Not to a great degree, not unless you're a super hardcore Crash fan. But yeah, Crash 1 is a slog at points.
Yes.
So jump into 2 or 3?
Well, I'm working on 2.
Okay.
And I got super frustrated the other night. I'm in the last tier of levels.
Okay, those are.
And they're brutal.
I'll give you that.
It's the jetpack stuff that's
Yes.
pissing me off. That it doesn't control well. I don't like it, and it
Mhm.
pisses me off. So I got through the one. I finally got through the whole thing, and then realized I forgot the fucking gem. I didn't grab it. So I was all like, I'm done.
Have you been going through like meticulous in getting the gems and stuff?
No, but just that long one
Oh,
that you need. That was the one I forgot. The one that matters.
yeah.
So yeah, that was why I put away the other night.
That's one you do in waves.
Yes.
That's not a bingey type of game.
No, because sometimes I just need to come back and look at it a different way.
Right.
Like, okay.
Especially when you're stuck on a level. It's like it can just drive you mad because you'll die at the same spot over and over again.
Right. And I did that with that big ass wall level in the first one. The first time that you have to scale up that huge fucking gate.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And it's like a 6-minute level. And I was at it for hours. And I finally pulled up a YouTube video. I was watching the guy. I'm like, fuck you. I'm like, no way. And I was following exactly what he was doing. I still wasn't getting it. I'm like, no, fuck this. And it was like, I put it down for like 2 days, came back, and finally got it. But yeah.
It's a weird thing with platformers. That's usually what you have to do. Just walk away, come back, and you'll do it on like the first try.
Uh-huh.
So, okay. I'm going to jump into E3. E3 2018 happened. Yay! The exciting part of every gamer's year. I'm more excited than that sounded. So, do you want to start with any particular company?
Want to go in order?
Sure.
Fuck EA.
Well,
Fuck EA.
after EA, the next one is. So, I like what's her name that hosted it.
Andrea Renee.
Andrea Renee. I should know that. She was GameStop host for a long time.
Yeah, she was.
That forehead though. No, she's a good-looking girl. So,
She's funny. And
she has a good sense of humor. It's just when you're in front of so many people and trying to use the humor that she has, it doesn't really go very well. Like she was talking to people in the crowd, I'm like, it's not going over well because
right. And
people are
these
awkward.
people, they're also so tied to the content they have to show.
Yeah.
Like she, it's not her show. She's hosting what EA has to present. And whoever made the call to do that Star Wars segment.
That was weird.
That should not have gone.
The new Star Wars segment with was it Vince
Zempella. Yeah.
So that was weird. The Battlefront 2 content that they announced, super cool. Would have liked to have seen some gameplay on it, but they are really turning Battlefront 2 around. Good for them. You don't see this very often, but they came out and said we messed up.
Yes.
Like we fucked up the game when it launched. We're doing our best to rectify that.
And by giving people what they've been asking for.
Right. And I've kind of fallen off of it because, again, trophies are my life. The last one I need is to hit level 50, and that game is a goddamn grind.
Yes.
An absolute grind to level up.
Right.
I'm hoping that they do some double XP weeks or whatnot.
When the Clone Wars comes out and to get people back in.
They did something for when Solo first came out and when The Last Jedi came out, they were doing some stuff then, but they didn't make big announcements, so I missed them,
right.
Of course. So I'm hoping that they do more when they release more content, because
right.
I will try to level up then. That's the last fucking trophy I need.
Yeah.
Driving me mad.
But yeah, that Jedi Fallen Order did not go well.
No. I'm excited for a Jedi controlling Star Wars game, but that is the absolute worst way to announce that.
Yes.
Like, I know we're kind of getting past the usual executive standing on stage talking about the game, walking off. They should have just done that with this.
Should have did. I mean, even if they just went the Nintendo route and just showed a logo and said now in development,
right,
and then move on.
Yeah.
But
it's such an awkward conversation they were having with each other. Like, even if it was more scripted, I would have been great. It would have been fine. But just so awkward.
Unravel 2 was cute.
Yeah, I bought it. Played a little bit of it. It's a co-op game, so
it was nice to have a shadow drop.
It's always fun when we do that type of stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. Maybe it's like once in E3 that'll happen.
And that's the only kind of game they can pull it off on.
Anthem.
Yeah.
What do you think of Anthem? I'm excited for Anthem. I'm not the biggest Destiny style game, like in terms of a persistent world, but I'm down.
This was their moment before launch.
Mhm.
This was their only time to really show it off
Mhm.
between now and launch.
Mhm.
And I felt like they wasted it.
In what sense? Devil's advocate.
I don't know. I just don't feel any more excited about it than before they took the stage with it.
Okay.
It was too. What was I gonna say? It was too.
Scripted.
Yes,
Mhm.
scripted, too corporatized,
Mhm.
and they were trying to avoid certain topics.
Especially in the roundtable discussions they had on stage there.
Yes,
They're kind of reiterating the same thing over and over again and not getting to like the specific questions that were being asked.
right. And if here's the question, they're doing this to get around to it, and that has me concerned.
Mhm.
Um,
If we're going just by gameplay and whatnot, it looked good. I want to know what they were playing that on, because that looked way too good to be on stuff that's going or that we have right now.
right.
How open is that world?
hmm And they don't seem to be very clear about how does the multiplayer work.
Mhm.
It doesn't seem like Destiny.
If I jump into your world, does the story progression stay with me, or is it only for you and then I go back and
You have to do it on yours one.
right,
Because that'd be bullshit.
right? Especially in that type of world where you're doing a lot of things in progression.
Lit and leave our parties to go to our own hub world
Mhm.
and finish, do all the in between stuff, and then group back up together,
Right.
which is weird.
Is it going to be more MMO-esque, where it's just like the same hub world for everyone, and then the NPCs just have a list of missions that you go on? Because that could be a way around that, instead of having unique characters that pop in and out, given the story mission. But
What's nice is the fact that it's BioWare
mhm,
gives them a little leeway.
they have more money.
Well, that and they have a track record
Yeah.
of success. And
What's his name is the lead on it.
Casey,
Yeah, it looks like what's his name? Good Girl or whatever show that's. I don't know. Zoe Deschanel. Whatever.
no idea.
Professor
But
Joe
because
Deschanel.
he was the brainchild of Mass Effect. I
Yes.
think.
Yeah. He was there throughout all of them. He left and then came back.
He didn't do Andromeda, correct?
Yeah. That was a whole separate
Right.
team.
So they've got the right team in place.
Mm-hmm.
And if Destiny taught us anything, it's you can launch poor and correct down the road.
I just hope that they've learned from Destiny launching poor, that they don't launch poor.
Right.
And
And
have to do that.
I hope they learned from Battlefront.
Yeah.
And the mistakes, and also from Destiny, the mistakes of how their microtransactions work, and the blowback from that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm hoping that they do a small event right before launch.
Yeah.
Because I think they could warrant it.
Did they talk about a beta or anything like that?
I don't know.
I don't know. I assume with a multiplayer game like that, there will be.
Mm-hmm.
But
maybe that's something that happens around the Game Awards.
I could see that.
That'd be cool.
Or Gamescom or something.
Oh yeah, that's next month.
Maybe not. That's what beta is, but maybe some news that there's going to be one.
Right. How weird was that Command and Conquer part of the show?
It lasted way too long. I don't feel like the gameplay style for Command and Conquer is a bad decision to go in terms of that route, because how long has it been since Command and Conquer has really been of relevance?
Right.
you couldn't put out a Command and Conquer like you did the previous ones today and have it sell well. It just wouldn't work that way. So
Right.
it makes the most sense to do that Settlers of Catan style on phones that everyone has. You can download it anytime, play it wherever. People are going to shit on it because they want the old Command and Conquer, but I feel like it's the smartest move to put a non-relevant series that's strategy based on a phone. Like
Right.
I'm not against that. I'm against the fact you put so much fucking screen time on this. That's something that didn't deserve that much screen time.
Right.
That screen time should have gone to that Star Wars blunder
Exactly. That much screen time on a mobile game.
or fucking Madden, maybe. The thing that makes EA the most money.
I think it's FIFA.
At this point, it's probably FIFA, but
Definitely FIFA.
but this, at least in terms of sports franchises, make them the most
Around
revenue.
here, probably Madden.
Well, maybe FIFA now that the World Cup was.
I mean, they spent a lot of time on FIFA because of the World Cup.
Yeah.
But even at that, I mean, they would also have to. They would have to have something to show off for Madden. To show it off.
I'm not calling it a beta, it's an Anthem pre-launch demo. You sign up for Anthem News.
Weird.
Okay, who was after them?
Microsoft.
Lots of stuff from Microsoft this year. I will start off with they purchased 5 studios.
Trying to take on a
They needed it.
Sony.
I'm both proud and sad of who they bought. Specifically Ninja Theory. Because I like their games, so we'll never see one on the old PlayStation again. Sad.
Yeah.
Hellblade was fantastic. DMC was fantastic. Enslaved was fantastic.
It's the move that they had to make.
Oh yeah. That's why I'm glad that they are acquiring studios to make games. At the same time, we're not going to see any of these games for a handful of years.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But that's the price you pay.
right.
With that.
It's
It's nice to see them making moves
which
to stay competitive,
they need.
to create their own worldwide studios division.
Right.
A little weird that we're still not seeing payoff of first party.
Nope.
And this was the year I thought we'd see it.
Uh,
So at this point, you got to wonder: are they waiting for next gen? And if so, what's the point of the X?
right. Are they accepting this as a loss per se and just kind of recoup anything possible? Like Crackdown 3, cancel Crackdown 3. Like at this point, it's fucking not coming out. Like you delay it again, and it looks completely different from what you advertised from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Like games change, but not that drastically.
Mm-hmm.
Like you talked about a fully destructible city. You didn't show any of that. You just showed Terry Crews being Terry Crews,
Mhm.
which hilarious, and he's a cool guy. But fuck, Crackdown 3 isn't what they
Does
originally
anybody
advertised.
honestly care at this point about Crackdown 3?
Did anyone really care about Crackdown 2? Like Crackdown 1 was great.
I never played any of them.
Crackdown 2 had the excitement behind it because Crackdown 1 was great, but then you just added a bunch of zombies to Crackdown 2, and it was like, oh, you did this? Did anyone ask for a Crackdown 3? I don't think so. There are people out there that want Crackdown 3, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to be that ignorant ass. But they've delayed it, what, 2, 3 times now? And each time they showed it, it's different.
It's not going to be a cornerstone franchise for them.
No, it's first party, but
And-
it's not going to be the Last of Us or
Yeah, and they
Spider-Man that they want.
right, and they claim that they delay it because they want it to run with Halo and Gears, and it's not going to.
Right, and even Halo and Gears, I don't think has the backing that it used to.
Right. So speaking of that, so the Halo Infinite reveal,
Mm-hmm.
looks like they're going old school with it.
I don't know why they didn't just call it Halo. What are they on 6
6.
now? Just
So
call
just
it Halo
finish
6. Like don't I know I understand the name change kind of signifies a change of gameplay style. Like I feel like it's going to be more God of War-esque, where it's more open and less linear,
Or are they going to go more games as a service and make this a Halo that they build on?
like a Halo MMO type
Yeah,
thing.
and not and the fact that this isn't 6 because or it is 6, but it's don't expect necessarily a 7. That this is Halo from here on out, and they can just update it as needed.
Yeah, then does the infrastructure really warrant the file sizes that you're going to need for this type of stuff? Like, if you're just going to be iterating on that, like, how big is that game going to get?
I don't know. Halo 5 is pretty fucking huge.
Yeah.
But maybe that's part of the whole next gen thing is, these hard drives are bigger, or it's cloud based, so you don't need it, or finally utilizing that Microsoft Cloud shit. I don't know. But it looks like a total reimagining going back to when Bungie had the game.
It needs it. It needs a change. It's been, again, I think the word of the night is stale.
Do you think can it work? Because their first party stuff, I feel like they need stuff other than what we've always had.
I mean,
we need stuff other than Halo and Gears and Crackdown.
Yeah. I wouldn't even put Crackdown in that same vein. Like, I think Halo and Gears is really what Halo, Gears, and Forza is what they've focused on for years.
They need their Last of Us.
Right.
They need their God of War.
Halo and Gears were those for a long time.
Used to be.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said before, I don't know if they still have that same clout as they did before to really do that. And I don't know if they have. The only studio that I could think of that could produce like the action game that they want is Ninja Theory. Of the other 4 that they bought, I don't see them doing that because I think 3 of them are like indie titles or indie studios, which.
And one of them is the Forza studio.
Right.
Which just, I assumed it was technically their studio.
I didn't even think about it,
right.
That they weren't already purchased by Microsoft, but it makes sense because you're only making Forza. So
at least it's official. Well, apparently they're the Fable studio.
Right. So who knows where that's at. So that could be one of the big staples now.
Fable a la God of War.
Fable of War. Now that they're purchased, I guess you could technically not call them indie anymore unless they're sticking with their usual stuff, depending on how much money is thrown at them.
Right. They'll probably function similar to how Media Molecule functions for Sony. Not necessarily AAA, but
or even how Raven works with Activision, where they just help other studios make games.
Okay, yeah. The outsourcing studios.
Right. If they're gonna like how Sony Worldwide does, they kind of help each other do what they're working on and just jump between things. So I could see them doing that. But yeah, they don't have anything that quite compares to like a Spider-Man or a Last of Us or a God of War or an Uncharted.
And some of the stuff that they could have landed as exclusives, they didn't. They showed off, but they weren't exclusives. So like Shadows Die Twice. They showed off on their stage, but not exclusive to Xbox. That could have been their answer to Bloodborne.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Right. That is on everything. Devil May Cry 5, that is on everything.
Right.
Which actually looks cash. Shadows Die Twice looks great. Bloodborne. Not Bloodborne, but like a mixture of Bloodborne and Souls. Fast-paced. Yeah. No multiplayer.
Yeah.
No leveling up. Just cool.
Metro looks good. I haven't played any of the Metro games.
Metro is just like a solid, good-looking first-person shooter. Like it's not doing anything crazy, at least from what they've shown. But it's just it's a solid survival first-person shooter game.
And that's
so cool.
I assume exactly just what it needs to be.
Yeah. That was delayed as well.
For like the 800th year in a row, also we're still seeing Kingdom Hearts 3.
Finally coming out. They showed up Pirates of the Caribbean.
I'll believe it when it's on the shelves.
Yeah, I'm just gonna buy the regular version of that. I don't feel like I need to buy a giant collector's edition, especially because Square Enix does their collector's editions through their website only now. So a bunch of dickheads.
I bought the collection so I can play the first two. Because I'm excited for it.
They're tough to get. Two is
Yeah.
two is a lot better. Two is a lot more streamlined, but
That's not always the case, though.
I mean, sequel to a game being better. Destiny 2.
Forza. Forza looks solid. We expect that from Forza.
Yeah, seasons are introduced, so
Seasons
every
is good.
couple weeks it changes season, which kind of changes the maps and like the challenges and whatnot, which is cool.
Right.
What else?
The Division 2.
I like the Division 1 a lot, so I am semi-interested in this.
I did not. So I'm curious because everything I've ever heard, because I only gave the Division a month of my time, and I was beyond done with it.
Mhm.
Everything I heard is that by the end of year one,
Mhm.
it was an amazing game,
Mhm.
and everyone loved it.
Yeah.
I'm very curious about 2.
Yeah.
Because I felt like it had good bones.
Yeah.
It's just when it launched, it was a mess, and I could not give my time to it.
I don't even think it was a mess mechanically. It was a mess post-game content-wise.
Yes.
Like, there really wasn't anything to do after that, especially in the Dark Zone, where it was just a fucking...
And I cared so little about the Dark Zone.
Yeah. I appreciate that the Dark Zone became like a no man's land, which is kind of what it was built for.
Right.
But Jesus Christ, that was like a purge level of like destroying people, in which funny, not so funny when it's happening to you.
Right.
And I'm not the one to do that to people, so I was kind of just like eating my popcorn, watching this crazy shit happen in the Dark Zone.
It was a troll's playground.
Oh yeah.
Which is what it was always gonna be.
But the main game, I enjoyed it a lot more than Destiny. Like, the loot was unique. Like, you and I weren't having the same thing in that game. And I enjoyed it. And the open world was great. It was built well. I enjoyed that game more than Destiny. So I'm excited for 2. Oh, yeah. It's super pretty.
It just...
Kind of drab because it all looked the same.
The difficulty spikes in that game are huge.
Yes.
And...
Bullet sponges were...
I was not a fan of how the button... The irony is not lost on me, being a Destiny fan and complaining about bullet sponges.
Yeah.
But there were zero mechanics, it seemed like, with the bosses there. And that was frustrating to me.
Yeah.
It was all about, okay, the difference between these enemies are all going to be how many bullets you can pump into them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just frustrating. Because you're talking about humans here. You're not talking about creatures that can have weak spots. It's humans. They all have to function the same.
They have armor and stuff. I guess you could justify it, but even then, you're still shooting constantly at them. But 2 looks more varied in terms of the environments. There's like foliage, and you're not just stuck in a city that's kind of dilapidated everywhere. So I'm interested. I'm not 100% in for it yet, but
I need to see more. Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
That is a sequel to the last Tomb Raider, so we'll see.
Doesn't look like it's gonna.
I don't think.
Get out of the park.
No, not at all.
Is this a different team? Is this Crystal Dynamics?
No.
Okay. You can tell.
Let me see.
It doesn't look as good visually. And if they cannot shit the bed with this, because that franchise has everything going for it right now.
Adios Montreal is the lead behind this one.
Yeah. They're not in a position where they need to rush a sequel.
No.
They could have taken their time with it. Because we're not very far out removed from Rise of the Tomb Raider.
No. Was it like a year and a half, 2 years?
Yeah. So, I don't know. We'll see how it goes when it comes out.
I don't think it'll be a bad game, but I just don't think it's going to explode the way they want it.
I don't think it'll live up to the first 2.
I don't think it'll be a satisfying end to Lara Croft's reboot trilogy.
It'll be a real damn shame. Did you ever get around to playing Rise of the Tomb Raider?
Yeah, I played and Platinum.
Of course it is.
First one is an infamous story of platinuming.
Just Cause 4.
That's also a game that's
A sequel to 3.
existing,
Existing.
and if you're not already in that type of game, you won't be.
For me, that game also is this whole slew of Gears stuff coming out.
Mm-hmm.
I've never gotten into Gears.
Yeah.
I didn't give a shit about Gears stuff they announced. The fact that there's a Gears Pops game.
Super weird. The strategy game looks interesting.
Right. What else do I want?
Joey and Adrian, who were
Right.
Xbox guys for years.
Right. Hopefully that works out for them.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I would have liked to have seen the gameplay on that.
Instead of it being behind closed doors?
Yeah. From what I've read, it's super interesting. So, but that game is still so early in its development that
That's
I can't even.
probably going to be a cross-gen game.
Oh yeah, has to be. Speaking of CD Projekt Red, they said that they haven't even seen anything in terms of next-gen hardware or specs or anything. So as of right now, that's being developed solely for this current gen.
Right.
So,
I think what they said was they're targeting current gen.
If anything, we'll at least see it on this gen.
Yeah. It'll probably end up being like Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Where it comes out right about that time
Mm-hmm.
that the hardware is switching, which is fine.
Yeah.
It looks super ambitious. If there's a team that can pull it off right now, it's done.
Yeah. They're just good developers. Like they put the time and effort into the game, so
They care about it. They're good people.
yeah.
I'm excited to see more about it.
Agreed. Hopefully they release that demo to see.
You ready to talk about it? Bethesda.
God damn it. Yeah, let's talk about Bethesda, which
Okay,
is
so let's get the
a
non-important stuff out of
conference
the way.
that kind of didn't even need to happen. That happened.
No, hold on. Okay, I'll give you. Last year's Bethesda Land was bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
The 20-minute video of their amusement park, whatever the fuck they were showing, fuck that. This year, okay, opening with the band was super weird.
Yeah,
That rock band.
that Rage 2
Yeah,
theme.
didn't care. I never played the first Rage. Rage 2 doesn't interest me.
Yeah.
Pretty much the first hour of the conference, I didn't give a fuck about.
Wasn't it a 90-minute show?
I think so. Prey has me intrigued. I've never played Prey.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff that they were showing, I was like, this is really neat. And
I'm glad they're still supporting Prey.
the support stuff makes me want to play it. I think it's on Game Pass.
It might be.
So
I
it's
enjoyed-
something that I could pick up and be like, this looks really neat.
The world. I guess I could closely compare it to BioShock in terms of the play style almost.
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoyed that world. It was different. It was in space. It's like BioShock in space. So
Yeah, which is kind of neat.
yeah.
Doom sequel.
Doom Eternal, which that trailer was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I would have liked to have seen some gameplay, but honestly, it's probably just going to be more
Doom.
refined Doom, which that's all I can really ask for.
Yeah, I mean, Doom's Doom. Just
Yeah.
don't fuck it up.
Um,
I don't care about Quake.
no one does.
Thank you. Every year I go, I wonder who you're talking to. What audience are you talking to right now?
The only people that would care about Quake are the people that, if you re-released Quake 2, just better textures and whatnot, you would see people come out of the cracks and be like, this is fucking great. But no one cares about the Doom or the Quake that you put out, because it's not the same.
Yeah.
So,
Wolfenstein spin-off?
Youngblood, yeah.
I'm assuming that this is kind of like a New Vegas direction for Wolfenstein. It's not like a proper sequel, but it's that spin-off game in between sequels.
It's like the old Blood for Wolfenstein 1.
Okay.
So like a
Everyone
side
says
story.
it's called Youngblood. I still need to play Wolfenstein.
I need to play 2. I didn't play 2. I have it. I just haven't played it yet.
Yeah, everything I've seen of Wolfenstein seems like it's a game that'd be right up my alley.
You'd like Wolfenstein.
I just haven't had time for it.
1 is really good.
And then Elder Scrolls Legends card game is neat. I don't care about the extra stuff. I did pick up Elder Scrolls Online because it was on sale at Toys R Us. Rest in peace. But I haven't really gotten into that. So the stuff that matters.
Okay.
Our man Todd Howard. Praise be. How do you feel?
Go ahead and start talking about it, and then I'll chime in with
Okay.
what you have to say.
This felt like a separate press conference. As soon from the moment he came out, it did not feel like it was the same press conference.
Yeah.
He actually knows how to work a crowd.
I mean, I appreciate him just being able to talk to people. Like,
Right. He's charismatic. He's not awkward.
right, he's just talking to us who play the games
Right.
that they've released
Right.
multiple times.
So, speaking of,
Mm-hmm.
the joke that wasn't actually a joke.
Yep,
Skyrim and Alexa.
that fucking happened.
That fucking happened.
That joke went on way too fucking long.
Well, so what do you
Way
think
too
when
long.
as it was happening? What were you thinking?
They could have ended it with him making that joke and not playing that video.
I thought the video was cool.
It was funny, but lasted way too goddamn long. Like,
Okay.
we understand. Like, you put this 3D RPG onto an Alexa, which is voice only.
Which at the time that the video played, he never said that they were actually doing it.
No, and it was...
People had to find out by actually looking on Amazon,
was a
going,
legit
"Wait,
thing.
this is a real thing."
Yeah.
So okay, yeah, so a very special edition. Fallout 76.
Mm-hmm.
Do you care about it?
I do, because it's something different, and they're taking a risk with it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is funny because everyone's, like, shitting on it. Like, I want a single-player Fallout game.
Mm-hmm. Which proves that people suck.
People do suck. We love you. Online Fallout game.
I don't know. I want to care.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know if I trust the online community. It
I don't know
just
if
feels like it could, again, a dark zone.
I don't know if I trust Bethesda with an online game.
Well,
Like, if you can't get a single-player game to be working correctly, how do you think an online game's going to be?
I'm more concerned about people just being shitty online.
Oh yeah, that's a given.
And
That's a given.
just it's why I don't play GTA Online,
Mm-hmm.
because it's
You get
not
ran over
accessible.
by random people that are just fucking
Yeah.
assholes.
People are trolls. It's not accessible. People fucking suck.
Hopefully you can, like, do private parties or private worlds where you and only your friends can be in there.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be ideal, but that's asking a lot.
I don't remember if they said you could play it solo.
You can play that game solo, but you're still online.
Do you have to have people in your?
I'd have to see if
Well.
that is something that was talked about, but he did say that you can play this by yourself. You don't
Which
need
is
to-
cool.
Yeah.
So like a passive mode would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing that could sink this is just out of their control.
Yeah.
It's people, and the fact that they're giving people nuclear sites just seems like it could add to the problem, depending on how it works.
Right. It's cool, the idea, but I wonder how the NPCs work in this game. Like,
Mhm.
are they unkillable? 'Cause if you can kill NPCs, what's stopping someone from just popping one and then fucking you over?
Right, because he's gone.
Yeah.
Or is he dead in his world, but not yours?
Right.
So that's weird.
How shareable is the world that you're playing in?
Right.
What denotes your world compared to someone else's?
But good for them.
Yeah.
For taking a risk.
But yeah, they have to.
I don't have to.
They need to.
It's refreshing to see. So yeah, I'm interested to see more about it as it gets closer.
Yeah.
I'm interested in the beta.
I'd like to play the beta. I mean, if I can take any part in helping fix the shit show that they put out.
Oh my god.
I mean, not like they would listen to me or even take anything that I have to say to heart.
Nope.
Let alone fix it.
Nope.
But, I mean, if I can stop at least one person from falling through the world or their head rotating, then I'll do my part.
Quick side note. The most self-aware thing in the world, them suing Warner Brothers for the Westworld game.
For a bug that...
Because the same bugs were in it.
I want to see how that turns out.
Is that not the most Bethesda thing you could imagine?
Oh yeah, discovering a lawsuit capability with bugs.
Yep. Hey, we know those bugs.
Those are our bugs.
Yep. We made those bugs. You can't have those bugs.
Only we can release a game with bugs and still get people to buy it.
Blades.
Oh, is that the Elder Scrolls?
The Elder Scrolls mobile game.
I'd play that. At least I can't fall through the floor in that one.
God fucking damn it.
Unless I'm playing the game and not looking where I'm going and then I legit fall through something.
Probably.
That's my fault.
That's why I played in portrait mode.
I deserve to die if that happens. And I'll never have to see their shit show that they release again.
It's better than them re-releasing Skyrim for iOS, which I'm sure will still happen.
I mean, you said it. It's in the ether now. They know about it.
And they know about it.
I mean, if they put it out there and people buy it, then what's stopping them?
I think what's super cool is they want this on every platform, not just phones. They want this on Switch. They want this on they want this on console. They want this on PC, and they want all of it to be VR.
Interesting.
And all of it to be crossplay.
Yeah.
So like somebody, playing on their phone in VR could be playing with like somebody on Xbox. So sure shit, no, it's not gonna be on PlayStation. Crossplay, but
at least right now.
I think they're seeing the Fortnite formula work, that just make it available on anything.
Yeah.
And you'll have a base. Make it free, available on anything. And this has potential to be a really big hit for them.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
We'll see. We'll see.
And then Starfield
That's something that's being made.
is being made. I mean, obviously the last two announcements were just like titles
Yeah.
and confirmed next gen.
Right.
On next gen hardware. It's nice to see a new IP. And
First new IP in 20 years, I think they said, or something like that.
Since Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
So I mean, the fact that they're not just gonna be the Elder Scrolls and Fallout company. They're gonna do other things.
Yeah.
What a better company to do that? I know.
I have a handful of better companies.
But it's cool. It's so different from what they do.
As far as
setting
we know.
And right, as far as we know. But
potentially vastly different from what they've done before.
I chalk it. It's similar to what CD Projekt Red is doing, going from The Witcher to Cyberpunk. When you talk about as far away from it as you could possibly be, might be similar, styles, but setting is fresh. And Elder Scrolls 6,
that's all we can really say.
Hopefully is just a Skyrim re-release in disguise.
I'd kill myself. I would kill myself.
There's this guy what did somebody say online? There's a guy that you sit down in a fire pit and he starts talking about, I want to tell you a story. And it flashes back to your hands being bound in a wagon. It just says Skyrim. Re-released on the next gen.
Or the 6 just unfolds into an S and then Skyrim comes out from that.
That would be perfect, though. That would be brilliant.
I'd kill myself.
Or what if it's Skyrim 2? If it's not even High Rock or anything, it's Skyrim 2.
Oh my god. I don't know. I don't know if my body could handle that.
I will say I will never forgive Elder Scrolls Online, though. Because when Elder Scrolls Online got announced, because I remember a lot of people thought that the online game was going to be Fallout years ago.
Yeah.
And it ended up being Elder Scrolls. the very first thing that people started talking about was, there goes Elder Scrolls. Don't expect to see Elder Scrolls for a very long time. They're like, well, it's not the same company. Doesn't matter.
They're not going to cannibalize
Right.
one game for another.
I mean, people said the same thing about the Old Republic.
Mm.
That took the place of 3. You're not going to cannibalize the Old Republic with Knights of the Old Republic 3.
Plus, good games take a long time to make. Fucking God of War was 6 years, so...
Right. But even now, that would mean the Elder Scrolls 6 would come out now. Because Skyrim was 2011.
Mm.
And I think Elder Scrolls Online came out about...
2 years ago?
I think it was 4. Was it 2014? Or 2015? Anyway, 3 or 4 years ago.
GameStop years mold into one.
Mm-hmm. And now we're potentially not... Elder Scrolls is after Starfield.
Yes.
So let's say Starfield's 2020. Let's say that's a launch title for next gen. It won't be. There's no way.
Yeah.
Because they haven't even moved on to full production on that game.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say 2021. I think that would... Spring of 2021 was probably the earliest that it could be out. And then you move on to full production of...
And who knows?
6.
Who knows how many teams are devoted to each thing either. So
Right. That could be 12 to 13 years between Skyrim and 6.
it's almost like they shouldn't have even talked about in Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah. Because it's probably, 5 years out? How often does that work out?
It could be a Duke Nukem style thing. Like, why even say it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially,
It's going to be the new Last Guardian.
I could see Starfield being talked about like that. I can at least justify a little bit because it's something they've never done before. Like, it's a new IP, so understandably, you would want to tell people we're working on something new, not Fallout, not Skyrim, or not. Geez, Skyrim is just the epitome of Elder Scrolls. It's not Elder Scrolls. It's not Fallout. It's something new, so I can understand that. Why even bother? Like, you showed a logo or the name and a fucking skybox, which could have been anything.
A CG rendering of...
It could have been a map of fucking Montana. Like, who gives a shit?
Right.
So, some people say like, oh, it gets people to stop talking about it. Like, no.
People are going to be expecting it.
We knew they were working on Elder Scrolls. You'd be stupid if you didn't assume they were working on it. You'd be stupid if you didn't assume that they were pre-planning for a new Fallout.
Right.
Outside of 76.
Right. The proper 5.
Right. Right. Or Infinite, because God forbid they keep a number going.
Right.
So we knew a new Elder Scrolls was being worked on. But now knowing that it's after Starfield, you're wasting everyone's time.
Yeah. Because you can't have 6 take any steam away from Starfield.
No.
Because it has to stand on its own.
Even if they were both being worked on at the same time, do you release one year and then the other one the following year immediately? You could. That would be... If we're saying Starfield is a single-player only game, then it wouldn't mean anything because it's a completely different crowd. Like, I'm sure there are people that only play space games and there are only people that play fantasy games, and there's the Bethesda group that'll play both because it's Bethesda.
But then it's your question of how many studios are working on this and how are you stretching them?
Right.
Because you don't want to... You don't want to...
You want your best working on
stretch
both.
out the team and then Starfield suffers. Because you don't want your first jump into a new IP to go poorly. It has to be just as good as the Elder Scrolls series. And you can't fuck up 6 because that's a whole already established fan base that we've seen it with Mass Effect will turn on you the very first chance they get.
Yeah.
And then if it turns out that, you go the BioWare route and it wasn't your main studio working on Andromeda, and 6 got sidetracked to a side studio, you've just tarnished Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can have them come out back to back, because then you run the risk of a huge gap from Bethesda Game Studios, because they just put their whole load.
Let's say that they're both being worked on at the same time, and they do finish relatively close to each other. How long do you wait to release the other one then?
I think you have to have a 2-year gap. Because you don't want to... You don't... I think Rockstar fucked up with how they've been releasing their games. Because, like, we were getting, like, a Grand Theft Auto regularly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been 5 years since a Grand Theft Auto game. And we're just now getting their next game in a different franchise.
Mm-hmm.
So they're on about a game every 5 years as a studio, which is not bad, but it's a far cry from where they were. And granted, it's because they're making money. I mean, Grand Theft Auto is supporting itself. But do you think if it turns out that, you know, it's another 5 years before Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out? I mean, which it wouldn't be. But if Bethesda Game Studios turns into an every 5-year studio, can Bethesda as a publisher stand on the E3 stage with knowing only every 5 years they're going to get their main flagship studio?
Well, first off, I don't think that they need to go... They don't need to have an E3 showcase each year. The last 2 years have proved that.
Right.
Because 3 years ago, that was perfect. Like, Fallout 4's coming out later this year. Like, woo! Doom's coming out in a couple months. Like, woo! You can do that. That's what we're used to. These last 2 years, Bethesda has gone away from that.
Right. I'm not saying you have to have it every year.
Right. I would like them to do maybe every other year, because they also have other studios outside of just them. Like, we have the Wolfenstein team, we have the Prey team, they have other teams under their arms. So
I was really surprised how much is actually done.
Yeah.
That really surprised me. They do have a lot going.
They own a bunch of IPs, and it doesn't have to be specific studios working on them. For example, one of the Just Cause teams is making Rage 2, so they're not afraid to outsource some of their IPs that they have. So they have content. Oh, Evil Within as well. They have content that they can be releasing in between these games, so that I'm not worried about. Plus, Rockstar only has... I guess they own... Do they own Max Payne? I'm not sure if they own Max Payne, but...
I think they do.
Grand Theft
Really,
Auto,
they've only got those two IPs.
Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead. And they are a studio that the amount of time it takes for them to make a game shows, and it's worth it.
Right.
So...
we'll see. Because this is the first time they've ever done... Everything they're doing right now is new territory for them.
In what sense? Like microtransactions and stuff?
Everything. I mean... Grand Theft Auto 5's been out 5 years and it's still topping the charts. That's new for them. And it shows because that's been their focus. They're supporting this game 5 years later with new content. Granted, it's online only.
Right.
And it's super shitty what Take-Two has made them do. I'm assuming it's Take-Two. Because Take-Two's seen the money roll in. And saying... And they've even said, we under-monetized Grand Theft Auto Online. The fact that none of that shit is available offline pisses me off, because I won't go online to get it. But it all looks amazing. But
is it really content that's going to change that game as a whole? Like, it's not story stuff. Like, it's
no.
car packs and...
It's car packs, it's heists, and I guess there's progression to it.
Yeah.
But it's not story stuff. But it's stuff that would be cool to play offline. But the fact that it's all locked behind microtransactions.
Right.
Is shitty. And I think the only reason that Red Dead took until now is because the focus has been on this, because of the money.
I could see it taking a little more time for that stuff, but their games, there's just so much in those games that it takes forever. Like, and the way those games look, 5 was great looking even on 360 and PS3.
Right. So
those games just take forever. We also don't know what type of microtransactions are in Red Dead. I'm sure I can almost guarantee that they're in there. Multiplayer's in there. That takes time to build. Of course, you can assume that there's going to be similar microtransactions that Grand Theft Auto has in Red Dead. They're going to have to tweak it a bit because it's the Wild West. You can't have fucking cars flying around and stuff like that.
Right.
So,
and it sounds like they know from talking recently that they know what to expect from this.
there's a fine line between pleasing people that want Red Dead and...
Right. Red Dead's big, but it's not GTA big.
No.
And they know not to expect GTA with this. Which is good. But... Anyways, next conference. Did you watch Devolver?
No.
I didn't either. Did you watch Square Enix?
The, 20 minutes that they put out, was it... I don't think they're
I think it was a video, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like a Nintendo type
I
thing.
didn't watch it. I just remember
Not
people
really.
being upset.
Yeah, it was... I vaguely remember stuff about it, but nothing of note.
Ubisoft.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey, so... Origins, but Greece.
That's what it sounds like.
I mean, Origins gameplay, fantastic. Nice change of pace from the past ones. If you liked that and you want some Spartan shit, jump on this. I don't know if I can do another Assassin's Creed so soon.
I'm a little disappointed that they're going back to the yearly.
I thought about that too. I'm like, you're doing what you did before.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you found a good... You got to think of it like this. Were they banking so much on Odyssey or Origins being as good as it was? Did they... There's no way they could have known that Odyssey or Origins... God damn it.
That's going to be tough.
That Origins was going to be as good as that it was well received.
They could have expected, because I think... Wasn't Black Flag really well received?
Black Flag was well received.
And it was the same team, and so was Rogue.
Syndicate was good.
Syndicate was good, but this is the team from Black Flag.
I'm not sure what team this is. There's so many fucking Ubisoft teams.
Yeah, I know it's Black Flag, but I don't know if they did anything between Black Flag and this. And Origin. But I just remember hearing it was that team being like, okay, well that was a really good game, so they could do this. So they probably expected, okay, this has the potential of being a good reboot game, which is what they banked on.
In an alternate universe, if Origins was bad, how do you think Odyssey would have been affected? Because it's almost...
I don't know if we would have seen it.
If they've been working on it for 6 years, you would have to see it.
Have they?
I think this has been worked on since Unity, Christ. I think.
But I think if... In that case, and especially if we don't know that it exists, what more is a year? If they saw that Origins did so well, and I remember when they came out, a lot of the reviews were even praising the fact that they took the extra year off. There was massive fatigue. The movie didn't help. It was just...
I like the movie a lot.
But and especially in terms of box office and stuff, didn't help. They saw that worked. Nobody knows Odyssey exists. Give it another year. It's not going to hurt.
Yeah.
It might suck for the team.
Right.
But
to revamp things.
But when it pays off and when it comes out, because it's 1 year better, and we never knew any better.
I guess I'm going more down the route. That Foresight was so lucky. They were so lucky that Origins was so good and well received. And then Odyssey's coming out a year later, looking very similar. I'm like, they were throwing a lot of pennies in that well, hoping.
It feels more like spin-off territory.
Yeah, like a Revelations or Brotherhood,
or even Rogue, which outperformed the main title. But I mean, more like that, which I need to pick up because I guess they just remastered Rogue.
Yeah,
and
I think it's one of the few I've not played. That and Black Flag I didn't play.
I've heard great things. So yeah, I'm excited. I haven't looked too much into Odyssey because I haven't finished Origins yet, and I want to focus on Origins. I love Origins. I'm a massive Egypt fan. It's just it fell by the wayside with everything else coming out. And
I didn't play any of the DLC, so I have to play
I didn't
that.
either. And the fact that they had it
cool.
running so well with that kind of stuff, I wanted to jump in. I just never did. But they struck gold with it. Good fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I'm a little tired of seeing Beyond Good and Evil 2.
I kind of don't even want to talk about Beyond Good and Evil
Yeah.
because we don't. It's still so. It's just like Starfield, where it's still so far in production that
But they're just choosing to show it.
Yeah, like
just
they're
to show
still
it.
trying to get people hyped.
And we're still not... Are we seeing gameplay?
Someone's seen some sort of pre-production like footage.
So it's still behind closed doors, and this is the second year that they've shown it off. They featured it,
Yeah.
right? They
There is playable stuff. We just don't know how full-fledged it is. Like how far along.
Yeah.
So,
What the fuck?
more than Crackdown 3, that's for sure.
Yeah. Rainbow Six Siege. I have not played it.
I bought it when it first came out. It just wasn't my thing.
Xbox was giving it out for free. I got a code for it.
Yeah.
I haven't played it. Heard good things.
Multiplayer focused, so if you're not into that, then you might not enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's very like search and destroy type of Call of Duty style. It's more involved in search and destroy in Call of Duty because you can like break through walls and through ceilings and stuff like that, which is cool. It's very strategic, but there's no single player.
Yeah. I've watched some YouTube videos of it. It's very intense.
Yeah. It's good.
Like there's a lot of stuff going on, but I'm kind of tired of how cringy Ubisoft is getting with their... Not that they've been this cringy, but like the trials.
I'm just sick of the fake gamer talk, like over mics, like
What the guy fake falling into the shit and breaking it and wearing the Evil Knievel suit and...
it's a show. It's a show, so I can understand that. I guess I was more talking about like the gameplay where it's multiplayer, people are talking, how no one fucking talks on a mic.
Oh, like the live demos, like the
the
Screamcaster and
Right, like
trash talking.
I'm gonna go over here, Becky. Check this out, and then it's like, fuck off. No one says that. Like I can understand.
Becky, get the fuck over there.
You stupid bitch.
Right?
But that was Ubisoft. Like I guess there's nothing really.
They've always been that way.
Yeah.
I mean, they're hitting par for the course.
I guess we can get Nintendo out of the way real quick.
Yeah, because there wasn't much anything else, right? For Ubisoft?
No.
The Crew 2 kind of came and went.
Yeah.
PC Gaming Show. So Nintendo.
Smash Ultimate, kind of the game of the year for the Switch.
So is it a proper sequel? Or is it a deluxe like Mario Kart?
I would attune it more towards a deluxe Mario Kart. It has every character
Right.
from every Smash in it. Most of the levels are back. They added in the Splatoon character. They added Ridley. There was a recent leak on 4chan about more characters coming possibly for it. We don't know how true that is.
But didn't that guy even say, don't expect more?
Sakurai.
We wanted to do this.
Yeah, he said that when it came out on the Switch, or not on the Switch, on the Wii U, that don't expect more characters, and then they released 4 more characters. So who the fuck
not
knows?
huge, but
For a fighting game that already has like
64.
I'd have to look at how many characters are on there.
So I
but
think I
there's a
remember
fuck
saying
ton.
to Splatoon people being 64-ish.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters. So it's a game of the year. If you like Smash Brothers, especially the last one, this is gonna have some new characters plus them.
So we're expecting it to be pretty much plain like
They've
the Wii U version.
they've tweaked some stuff. They made it so the shield. Did you play Smash Brothers? Do you know Smash Brothers?
Not really.
So you have a shield, like a bubble, that the more damage it takes, the smaller it gets, and then it shatters.
Right.
So in the past games, you could hold the shield button and you could just keep getting hit. If you use a more powerful attack, you'd break out of it, but normal attacks would just shrink it down, and then you'd have to either stop using it for it to regenerate or it breaks. The second someone hits it, it disappears, so you can't just hold it down. So that's a tweak. They're doing little tiny tweaks to this game, which changes a lot with the fighting style of the game. So they're not just porting it over and adding new characters. They're making smart changes that need to be made.
Which they did with Mario Kart, right?
Yeah, they added some stuff. They changed some stuff around. So yeah, it's very attuned to Mega Mario Kart 8.
They're not phoning it in. They're actually putting
right.
it in.
I wouldn't call it a full-fledged Smash Brothers sequel because it's definitely not. But it is almost like a Smash Brothers 2.0.
It justifies its own buy.
Yeah. What else did they show? They showed some of that Let's Go Pikachu / Eevee.
Yeah, so how you feel about that?
As an OG Pokemon player,
from the beginning,
remember that shit in 4th grade. I had fallen off Pokemon pretty bad. Last official Pokemon game that I played to completion was Ruby, which was on Game Boy Advance.
Wow.
Didn't play.
That's like Gen 3, right?
Didn't really play anything on the DS. Black, White, White 2, Black 2.
XY, Sun and Moon.
When I bought a 3DS, I picked up X.
Okay.
Played probably about halfway through. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Like I don't want to say I got too old for Pokemon, but the RPGs that I played since Ruby to now has tailored my taste more towards a more in-depth RPG style. So it just wasn't holding my attention. Plus, there's too many fucking Pokemon.
And
call me an old man, but 700 plus Pokemon just isn't as intriguing as like 250, 300.
There are
like
251 Pokemon as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
I don't think the games respect the veterans of the series enough. The fact that the opening 2 hours of the game is a hold your hand tutorial is bullshit. And for the old Gen 1, 2, and 3, the fact that it pretty much was, alright, here's how to catch Pokemon, and you're on your own.
Yeah. I guess, what do you do to alleviate that, though? Do you just throw someone in and risk alienating a large audience, or put that tutorial in and hopefully the veterans get past that and then can stick with it?
Have an option. Ask us at the beginning. What's our experience level with Pokemon?
How much of the game does that change, though? Like, would you have to completely retool how the game plays?
Look,
that first.
They're not building a God of War here. They're not building a Horizon Zero Dawn. They're still building this fundamentally the same game as 1996.
Do you just raise the initial Pokemon levels so that it's harder? Or what do you do to alleviate that tutorial in the beginning?
Let's take out let's say the opening frustrating part of the game is 5 hours.
Okay.
Make 3 versions of the opening 5 hours that you can tweak enough, depending on our familiarity with Pokemon. Up to, we only want you to talk to us when there's new shit for this generation that you can assume we can pick up on pretty quick and then leave us alone about it. Rather than literally hand-holding the entire way through unskippable things that I learned 20 years ago how to do.
And I didn't play much of the DS or the 3DS games, so I can't say how much of that hand-holding really happened.
Sun was excruciating.
I definitely didn't play those.
And they try to base it in story, and that makes it more frustrating. Because I don't care about it as much, and it's still a game made for kids.
Yeah.
But, oh my god. Like, teaching me how to catch a Pokemon, like, 4 different ways. Like, I know how to fucking do it.
I wonder how that's going to go with this one, because this one is definitely streamlined. So you're not actually battling wild Pokemon.
You're battling trainers.
Yeah.
But you're not battling wild Pokemon.
Right.
Now, is that something that's set in stone?
Yeah.
Okay. So they're sticking to their guns on that.
As of... I don't think they could change that at this point.
Alright. Because that doesn't seem something that is being received very well.
Yes. So it's very Pokemon Go-esque in terms of wild Pokemon. So you throw a Pokeball or you throw like bait and stuff. That change is going to be a little weird for me because I'm not used to that. I'm used to just like the hardcore, regular, like you catch these Pokemon, you fight, you level up.
Other than that, it's traditional Pokemon, though, right?
Yeah. So
gyms, trainers.
yeah, it's Gen 1, like reimagine Kanto. Like,
But it's just linked with your Pokemon Go.
right. So yes, all your Pokemon in your party get experience when you fight
Oh, thank God.
and run into Pokemon. So everyone is gaining the same amount of experience each time.
Thank God.
That is nice. Pokeball attachment is being made for this, which is the version I'm getting because I'm dumb. You can take one Pokemon around in that thing.
And it comes with Mew.
That's one reason that I bought it.
Right.
Because
You
that's
want
my
Mew.
favorite Pokemon, so I had to. I literally had a gun to my head.
And they knew it. That's why they did it.
Oh, yeah. So...
I'm not going to sell those with Oddish inside.
Fuck no. Oddish, who the fuck? Yeah, that thing is motion control. You can control that whole game with that Pokeball attachment, so that'll
Which is
be
neat.
interesting.
Nobody does gimmicks better than them.
I don't think anyone could risk gimmicks as much as them. Plus, they don't put out that many, so how much of a loss is it? You put out 300 of them. If it doesn't sell, whatever, you only made 300. If it sells really well, you make more.
Right.
Like, I hate them for it because they're assholes. I'm not in retail anymore, so I don't give a fuck.
Right.
But
They know what they're doing.
I hate that strategy works for them.
Yeah. And works very well. This is one of the most creative ways to remake a game.
This is a good way to pull in us because it's Gen 1.
It's Kanto.
It's 151. And there's co-op. There's couch co-op.
Yeah.
So you can run around with another person.
I remember watching when the trailer dropped and watching it going, this is exactly what I want.
The game is super good looking too.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I'm excited to see Pokemon roaming around in 3D, which is something that needed to happen a long time ago.
Yes.
Um,
But it's only a tie-over for a core game,
right.
which is neat. And should satisfy some of the people who are upset.
If this core game that comes out after this one doesn't have live Pokemon wandering around in the open, I'm going to be furious.
That it takes a step back from the remake?
There needs to be an open world Pokemon MMO. There needs to be.
So this should be previewing some of the stuff that we can expect in the next core game. That's what this should be serving as, right?
As upright walking primates, you would assume that's what that means.
But it's Nintendo.
But this is Nintendo. So
They don't
who
make
the
sense.
fuck knows? Who knows? It could be a sprite-based game, which would be absolutely batshit insane. If it's back to the traditional Pokemon where they don't say their names, I want Pokemon to say their names. I don't understand why they don't do
You
that.
actually want... So you want all the Pokemon?
Yeah.
Okay, so the next core Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
How many Pokemon? Do they go... Is this a reboot of Pokemon? Are we canning the ice cream and keychain Pokemon?
I think they said this is a core entry in Pokemon.
What is?
The one that's
This
coming
one.
out.
Oh, 2019.
Yeah.
Right, so is that...
I would assume
is
that
that
you
going to
would-
follow Sun and Moon? And are we going to have all 800 Pokemon? Or is Pokemon Let's Go serving as kind of a reboot to give them a way back into
Would you
the original 200?
Would you really do that? No, that'd be something super shitty. I'm at least not for us because like 250 is prime,
But that's what we grew up with.
but for a vast population now that have played Pokemon to this day, restarting or rebooting the series and having to go through each iteration, adding that 100 extra Pokemon, you think they would do that? I don't think they would
Or
do
not
that.
even do that. Let's say cut it in half. You take up through Ruby and Sapphire and some of the greatest hits past that. And let's say you've got 400. And there's your Pokemon. And we're not even going to make this like, oh, we're going from yellow to gold to ruby to blah, 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 blah. Getting out of that.
How do you determine which Pokemon to put in there, though?
I don't think there's a good way to do it.
I mean,
can we really, do we want to push 1,000 Pokemon?
I mean, you'd assume that they'd have to. Like, why would they not put all of them in there? Like, you can't section them off now.
Yeah. It just seems like it's gotten so out of hand.
Which if they do 800, is that shit gonna fit on a Switch?
They're not even putting all of the Pokemon in the games now.
If they have to model oh yeah, that's true, because they're technically modeling them in 3D now for Sun and Moon.
Yeah, they're probably only have half the Pokemon in that game. And then you can bring in the old ones from other generations through the Pokemon Bank.
Which I guess technically, with that game though, they're in that game. They have to be in that game for them to even be able to trade them. So that data has to at least...
The data's there, but you can't find them in the game.
Right. But even then, they're not physically active on the map. So you can just pull in a couple ones and zeros and they appear.
Right.
So... That's a lot
just
easier.
You look on the map and it says no data found.
Right.
And that's it.
Yeah. But if they're modeling them physically in the world, I don't know if that game is viable on a Switch. If it is, kudos to them.
Right.
Because I wonder how big 151 3D model Pokemon are.
Right. But that's where you go back to this might be the perfect opportunity to
reboot the
make
series.
this.
I don't know. Nintendo's done weirder things.
Either way, I think they're in a bad position.
Like charge $20 for an online service.
Right. Either way, they're in a bad position because people are getting tired of the Pokemon that they're adding on.
Yeah.
And then you piss off people who grew up with some of these Pokemon if you don't include them.
Right.
And say they're no longer Pokemon.
That was it for Nintendo.
Was it?
Yeah.
Wait, Super Mario Party.
Oh yeah, they did talk about that.
That looks cool.
It's interesting what they're doing as long as you have multiple Switches.
That's the thing. Like, you can link up Switches and create your own board. And
that aspect is cool. How is that going to translate to just one screen? Or how well? Because they have to tailor it to that. There's no way that they would make it only multi-Switch only. It has to work in dock mode.
Yeah. I was excited to see a Mario Party game. Super Mario Party. Not even a numbered iteration.
Right.
But it looks like a proper sequel. Because, yeah,
I wish naming conventions were more focused. Because Super Mario Odyssey, that's fine. Like, there's never been, like, outside of Galaxy and Galaxy 2, there usually isn't a sequel to Mario out in the 3D realm,
right,
per se. But like Halo Infinite, Super Mario Party, just like if it's a sequel, just number it. Like, there's no negative to that.
So it's not confusing.
Right, just keep it in line.
All right.
Are we getting to the big boy?
How did you feel about it?
Okay. Definitely different compared to last couple conferences. I know a lot of people were complaining about the initial Last of Us area they were in. I guess none of us were really there, so who really cares?
Right. Look neat.
I mean, it's... I don't want to be apologetic towards them, but they try something new. That's all we can ask for. It wasn't a complete disaster, but it's definitely a different change of pace. Gameplay, though. Goddamn.
I need this game. I need to know when the fuck it's coming out.
That Last of Us 2 gameplay was something else. if you're one of those people that poo-poo on two girls kissing or the fact that human interaction is happening, I hate you. Like, they're not pushing an agenda.
Play the fucking game.
The
and
first
it wouldn't
game
have been a surprise.
The first game, spoilers for Last of Us in the DLC for it. Ellie's gay. Ellie's gay. Whoops. That's a thing. Like, Naughty Dog isn't pushing an agenda. Like, if they're telling a story that has lesbians in it, that's how it is. It's a story. If you don't want to play it, don't play it. It's like a movie. If you don't like it, don't watch it.
Yep.
Don't read the book. Don't listen to the music. There's
Don't
nothing.
watch the show.
There's nothing forcing you doing one thing or the other. Like, if you want to be stuck in the 1960s, stay there. Stay in your house. Because it's 2018. Things happen. Things change. But that gameplay, though, amazing.
God damn.
Hyper violent, but violent in that world makes sense. You're surviving.
I want to know what the fuck happened to her
To trigger her to be
to make
that level.
this how they're going. Because The Last of Us wasn't as violent. So there is a catalyst here, and I want to know what it is.
It's definitely, from what they've shown, more violent compared to the most violent scenes in Last of Us. We haven't seen any of the calm moments that Last of Us 1 provided.
Right.
So we've only seen the worst. So I'm sure if they cut the worst parts of Last of Us 1 together, we'd feel very similar. So our context is kind of skewed right now.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely violent. Disemboweled person, that was super, super nuts. Like, seeing... That was some God of War 3 level disembowelment.
Mm-hmm.
Just the foliage. I had that moment when they first showed off Uncharted 4,
Yeah.
where you're in the jungle, and it's like, this stuff looks amazing.
It's them showing off that they're on another level than any other studio in the world.
Just the attention to detail that they put in, like...
And how seamless everything was in that game. Her moving, her actions, slipping in between objects into a attack.
Like, the fluid animations from one thing to the next. Like, some would argue that that was a hyper-focused gameplay demo. Which it has to be, because you don't want to look like a fucking fool on stage. And
even Digital Foundry broke it down. They were like, this is unbelievable.
yeah. Just the ability to go under cars now. She gets shot in the shoulder with an arrow, and it knocks her down and changes, like, the whole, like, focus of the camera. Things are blurry. She pulls it out. Just everything about that gameplay was amazing.
Yeah. Definitely was worth it from waiting for this from being teased at PSX.
Oh, yeah. Like, fucking cock teased us in California, like, there's going to be gameplay at E3. I'm like, you sons of bitches.
And she's like, I've seen it. It's amazing. It's like, fuck you.
You
Fuck you. Stop talking. Like,
pixie-looking thing.
that, I mean, for me, highlight of the show. I'm
have to say so.
so excited for this game. And I'm not expecting it any earlier than fall of 2019. Or are you even going longer than that?
I don't... The excitement in me says 2019, for sure.
The realist says 2020.
The realist in me is... I can't even say, because I don't know how far along they are.
And it's the thing, they showed this game in 2016.
Yeah.
And granted, they said super early development.
Yeah. I think 2019, it has to come out. Ideally, I would like it early 2019. Like April, May, June.
If they're going to go through another E3 with this, there has to be a date at the end
quarter,
of it.
Like second quarter 2019.
Yeah. But again, Last of Us launched in June.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it could be a summer thing. They could go out of PSX this year in December and say June.
Yeah.
2019.
I mean, ideally, put it out in the summer. Fucking nothing comes out in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, have the summer all to yourself.
I remember when The Last of Us came out, it was perfect because it was that second week of June.
Yeah.
And I had all summer to play it.
No one's in school.
All right.
Fucking.
So I've never understood why there aren't more games out in summer.
Doesn't make sense.
Whereas Destiny always comes out my first day back at school. I'm like, fuck you.
Like the holiday push is big, but
summer could be huge.
So is every other game that's coming out.
But I think that this was just Naughty Dog being Naughty Dog. And an unbelievable showing from them on that game.
Them doing them.
Ghost of Tsushima.
That was a surprising turn of events.
What do you mean?
With how good that looked and how
Yeah?
smooth it looked, yeah.
I don't know if I'm having trouble hyping myself up for games. Because I'm so busy and there's so many other games coming out. Like, I'm having a hard time getting hyped for Spider-Man. But I also know it's still, it's pretty close now.
Yeah.
But
don't show anything else with Spider-Man. Like, at this point, you don't have to show anything else.
Right, it's locked.
Show the last skin that you get for pre-ordering, and that's it. You don't show me anything story-wise, because you kind of showed me too much at E3. Like, now we know it's like a Batman Arkham situation where it's all the villains. It's almost too much. That would have been a great surprise. But yeah, Spider-Man looked great. Don't show any more of it. That's a must-buy already.
Right. Ghost looks great. I don't know if it's my thing. People have been screaming for a feudal Japan game for years, especially with Assassin's Creed, and I don't know. I don't know if it's just not my thing, but I like Sucker Punch's games.
Which is the big thing carrying me for this. Their games are so smooth and fluid, and they look great. I want to know more about the combat. Like, is it going to be the Sucker Punch style where you can kind of just fling the sword around and still win, or is it going to be precise counters, can kill in one hit?
Is it going to be more like a Lord of the Rings Batman style combat system?
Right.
Versus like a Skyrim system.
Yeah, we don't know. From what they've showed, it looks like you could button mash. But it could also be you could fuck yourself over by button mashing and you have to time your slashes correctly. I want to know how the combat works. I want to know how the progression system works, because they said there's going to be some progression, but it's not going to be like fantasy style. Like, you're not going to get crazy weird things. So what they showed was cool, but there's still questions I need answered.
Did they give a year on that?
I don't think they gave a date on that one either.
So that was like the only game that we got a date on was Spider-Man, because we know it's coming out.
Right.
The other three did not. Of course. So Spider-Man, you're pretty much...
I'm buying Spider-Man.
Buying it. Locked in. I'll probably get it. It looks neat.
Oh yeah, it's Insomniac. Like, I have to... Their games are too good not to buy. Why is there such an insane amount of hype around this game? Spider-Man?
Yeah.
I think it plays so well and looks so good that the way Spider-Man is in the comics and movies is how he's looking in this game, which is what people want. It's fluid. He's swinging like Spider-Man swings. It's a giant open world city.
We've had Spider-Man's games, though.
We have.
I mean, even recently, we've had Spider-Man games. So is this because of the old ones? This seems like it's
I could see that being
a spiritual successor to like Spider-Man 2.
I could see it being that. I could see it being just the pedigree that Insomniac has. Like, they had such success with Ratchet & Clank recently that they could just be riding that high. But I don't know if the same people are buying
That was
Ratchet.
an established formula.
Yeah.
They did Sunset Overdrive.
They did.
And that didn't exactly blow the doors off.
Right. And they're bringing some of those elements into this in terms of, like, interaction with the world and traversal and stuff. So that's cool. It could also just be the Marvel hype, like
Because Marvel's so big.
Marvel's so big. Infinity War came out. Spider-Man movie came out not too long ago. So
I haven't seen any of it.
Homecoming is great. Infinity War is great.
I want to see them. It's just I'm very far behind. I'm excited for it, and it looks like the details are cool.
Yeah,
Interacting with pedestrians and
I'll be streaming that game. I'm gonna try to stream on Twitch more. Oh, you can watch
hint,
me.
hint, nudge, nudge.
Death Stranding.
What the fuck?
That's Death Stranding. What the fuck? That's Kojima.
Now here's okay. So 2 totally different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
You've played all the Metal Gear games.
That I have.
I haven't played any. So I've never played a Kojima game.
Mm-hmm.
I know. It hurts your soul, doesn't it?
I mean, no, because it's you can't just jump into that series. Like you have to play from the beginning. If you haven't, then I can't fault you for not.
They're not easy games to jump into.
No,
I
it's almost impossible.
I jumped into
Ground Zeroes.
Ground Zeroes
Mm-hmm.
because that was a PS Plus game.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is a learning curve. Like, that game was made almost with the expectation that you knew what you were doing in a Metal Gear game.
That's a stealth action game.
Yeah. And I was like, fuck, okay. And then I never picked it up again.
Yeah.
And then I've got 5
Mm-hmm.
because of PS Plus.
Yeah.
But, I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at.
I don't think anyone does.
Is this Kojima? Like typical Kojima?
Oh yeah, this is Kojima to a T.
So, like, this is him unleashed.
This is him free,
Free.
which is
Damn it, at your
insane.
house, what did you do?
Which is insane to say, because if Metal Gear was him leashed, no human being is ready for an unleashed Kojima.
So is Metal Gear pretty batshit insane?
In terms of story, yes. Gameplay, it's a stealth action game, so there's shooting, there's sneaking.
It's solidly made, right?
Metal Gear Solid.
Fuck you, goddamn.
Um,
Damn it! Walked right into that.
yes, they're solidly made. Each game is slightly different. The mechanics are weird. Weird but cool. Like, they make sense for the world. The story jumps around. 1 is set in like the 90s. 2 is set in the 70s. No, 2 is set almost directly after 1. 3 is set in the 70s. 4 is set in like the 2000s. And then 5 is set in like the 80s. But it's all one cohesive story.
So this is pretty much what happens when nobody tells you no.
This is when you have a budget, but they're like, you can do whatever you want. Like,
Have at it.
you're not confined to any sort of narrative timeline. Like, you can, whatever you've been thinking of, my man, do it.
This is your magnum opus.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is what Konami would not let you do. Like,
This is what Konami wished that they had.
because I don't get it. And the fact that, like, Mads Mikkelsen goes out and says, like, he told me the story, and I still don't get it. It's kind of like,
Oh,
well,
yeah. Him and Norman Reedus are just, like, chilling in Japan. Like,
you see the photo?
Yeah, it looks like a fucking 90s rock band.
Right?
Just, like, chilling, smoking on a curb.
Norman
Like,
Reedus
okay.
is wearing a Kojima hoodie. It's kind of like, this is,
Kojima hangs out with a lot of famous people. Like, there's
Yeah.
a lot of pictures of him on Twitter just, like, chilling, having drinks with
but
random
what's
people.
weird is, like, they fanboy over each other. Like, Norman's fanboying over Kojima, Kojima's fanboying over Norman. It's like, the hell is going on here?
He's,
But, I mean, it's great to have that relationship. And,
if they're willing to work for each other, go for it.
yeah,
This is a game that it would do a good service for you to, like, look up theories online, like on YouTube, and just watch what people think is going on.
yeah. Because we still don't know what kind of game it is.
No, they showed gameplay in this one, and it's Kojima he can't use the engine that he built for 5, So this is
It's the Horizon engine
this is the Decima engine.
that they just gave him. They just handed it to him and said, "Take it."
You need a good engine? Here you go.
Yeah, like because they showed gameplay in that trailer, but it wasn't in any recognizable form that you could really decipher what it's going to be like.
It was just him wandering around, like carrying things. But outside of that, no real gameplay per se. There's climbing, and running. That's pretty much all we can really decipher from that. There's no like mechanics. There's no like how you're acquiring these packages that you're doing, why you're doing these deliveries, who you're working for. There's people are basing stuff on what he's wearing on his arm, the lady that he's talking to. There's some world building that is in this based on the previous trailer and then this one, but overall we have no fucking idea what's going on at all.
And we have no fucking clue what point of development they're in.
Not really. Not that he's made aware.
And Kojima games take a while.
I mean, I don't think there's really a set or average time span for his games. We've never had Kojima at this level where he's free. So we don't know.
It seems like he's working like a madman.
I think he said he wanted it out before 2020. So I think this is a 2019 game.
Okay.
But probably late year.
So we're looking at the games that are going to sunset this console.
Yeah, probably.
Like the grand finale of the console is going to be Last of Us. And
yeah, who
Days
knows?
Gone and-
Who knows what's like a cross gen? If we even get a 2020 console
from them.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued by Death Stranding. I don't know what to make of it.
At this point,
I'm just along for the ride, which I think everybody is.
I think we're all playing in a Kojima world. So this is the game that he's playing.
Was it him or Mads that said the game's already started? Like, we literally are playing in Kojima's world. Like, there's social elements of this game that, like...
Yeah, that was something that they brought up when the game was first announced, but hasn't really been talked about since.
But then, right about E3, the report leaked that the baby... Apparently there's, like... The report leaked that there's a choice with the baby at the end. Mm-hmm. And whether the baby lives and dies. Mm-hmm. There's a multiplayer aspect to the game. And whether the world chooses to kill or save the baby depends on whether the multiplayer continues or ceases to exist.
Who knows? Like, that's more than I've heard about any multiplayer aspect of this game. Like, I know the baby was talked about, like, how that integrates into the game play, but I don't think we've had any real news on any multiplayer other than there's some sort of social aspect that's going to be taking place.
Could you imagine being a developer?
Could you imagine...
Kojima Studios.
Exactly.
Productions.
Working for that man is probably the most rewarding and stressful fucking thing on this planet.
I wonder if they know what they're making.
I wonder if the employees there are broken into teams and they work on something and they just, like, put it all together. Like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the order you're going to put these together. Put them in order.
It's probably a bunch of Kojimas.
He's cloned himself.
Cloned him.
He's found out how to clone himself.
And it's like 100 Kojimas.
He just plucks a hair, puts it in a glass of water, and he grows like a chia pet in a day.
I feel like he is Sony's most prized possession right now.
He is the sacred symbol.
Yes, he is.
He's the fifth symbol.
Yeah. Because I remember being at PSX, and if you confuse Mark Cerny, your game's really fucking out there.
No, that's true, yeah.
And
that fucker's a smart man.
Mark Cerny, yeah, like, to the point where it affects his personality. Like...
Yeah, he is a... Mark Cerny is on the level of... what's the guy that worked at id? I forget, the guy with glasses that worked on Original Doom and whatnot. I have to look it up. I forget his name.
He's the kind of guy that when he talks, you can tell he's trying to make it so we understand what he's saying.
He's dumbing it down for us.
Right. But he didn't seem very confident about what he was talking about with Death Stranding.
John Carmack. That's a smart motherfucker right there.
Really?
Oh yeah, he's the one that worked or like essentially created Doom, and then is now working on VR for Facebook, the Oculus.
Mm-hmm.
Look at some of his like QuakeCon and just like the id conferences that they have every year. He did a keynote almost every year up until this last like year or so.
Mm-hmm.
That the way that man talks is you have to have a translator. Like he's saying some crazy fucking shit.
Huh.
Like just mechanics and how things are built in game and lighting and all that. Oh wait, we're out of space on the video. Oh no. And we can keep talking at least.
Yeah. Audio only. Yeah, I'm intrigued.
Yeah. So
I want to see more. I think Sony had a good show.
obscure in the way that they showcased it, but
Wasn't 2016 level.
no.
That was the perfect conference.
Right. That was the epitome of everything that anyone could want.
That was, we're winning. And
We know it.
we know it.
And here's some good games.
Yeah, and here is this grand theater with a live orchestra.
Mm-hmm.
And we're opening with God of War.
Right.
So, I'd like to see them go a little more traditional next year, though.
Yeah, I could see them getting the backlash from this one and being like, let's go back to how we were doing it before. So
Okay, so can we close out by talking about Sony in general as a business?
yeah, we got a little time left. Mm-hmm. Is this focused on the Fortnite thing?
Everything with Sony right now.
Okay.
Because I think it's a symptom of where Sony is right now, where PlayStation is
Mm-hmm.
right now. What's your take on it? So regarding Fortnite,
I honestly don't think it is a. If the roles were flipped in terms of if Sony was losing, quote, losing this gen, I still don't think they would. I still think they would be doing what they're doing now. I think that's just the way Sony is with this type of stuff.
do you think it's right?
They've always been. Do I think it's right?
Because this is past crossplay.
I think ultimately everything comes down to money.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of financials, what they're doing makes sense. For gamers, though, it's annoying.
I think it's going to hurt them. Crossplay, I can see the argument
Right.
of this is a money thing.
Bare minimum, at least fix the ability to use an Epic account on other things.
And that's the biggest thing right now, is it's not even their account. They don't have a stake in this.
Right, it's a third-party
And
account.
so people aren't going to want to play Fortnite on PlayStation if they want to play with their friends on a different platform. And the thing is even if they unlocked it, they would have people playing on PlayStation because they know that they could just pick it up on a different console.
Yeah.
They might still play a lot
Mhm.
on PlayStation, but they could move somewhere else.
Yeah.
I think it'll hurt them financially in the long run. In terms of crossplay, I get it. It sucks for the gamer
Right, and
with crossplay.
I know,
but
and we've said it before, Sony was the one that first extended that cross-play thing in like the PS3 360
last
days.
gen.
And Microsoft was like, no. So I don't think at this point it's come down to that. I don't think it's like, we'll show you this time.
Mhm.
But I think there's a lot more that goes on behind the scenes in terms of why they're doing it. Like I said, unlocking the ability to use that Epic account on things outside of the PlayStation would be bare minimum the thing they need to do to fix it. in terms of crossplay, we know it works. We know it's possible.
So we know it's them.
Right. It has to be. It is them saying no to it. I just don't know if there's back-ended deals that are keeping them from just saying, okay, we can do this. Who knows? On the outside, it would be just like Sony giving the thumbs up, but yeah, just do it. Like,
it sounds like their corporate structure is in the way.
Yeah.
Because their initial response to the problem was a little embarrassing because it didn't even address the actual problem that was happening. They addressed it as a crossplay issue, and everyone was kind of like, we're not talking about crossplay.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about just a third-party account being locked out because it was ever tied.
Yeah.
I think this is just another facet of Sony's a very locked down business, communication-wise, compared to Microsoft. Since Microsoft's regime change, they are very open and candid.
Yeah.
And it comes across as very pro-consumer. And Sony is very withdrawn into themselves, and they only speak to us when they want us to know something.
And I wonder how much of that is because one company is more North American focused and the other is mainly foreign.
Yeah, apparently that's a big Japanese-focused way of doing things.
Right.
But this is also Sony America, though, is what the basis of operations is, right?
I mean, they still report to
Japan.
Sony Japan, so
Right.
it's still them.
Yeah.
I know the North American branch has leeway
Mm-hmm.
because some of their biggest markets are here
Right.
in English speaking, so it doesn't go completely unnoticed, but I think it's still a branch of the hub, which is Japan. So I think a lot of it goes to just the way the culture is Asian-wise compared to Western. But there comes a point where there needs to be something addressed with it.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Layden came out and had some positive news, at least.
It seemed like it was just enough to try and get people to say, well, at least they're looking at it.
Right. It's corporate talk that you'd assume would come out.
Mm-hmm.
And it came out. But at least it wasn't completely a no. Because they could have just said, like, we feel like how it's going will be good enough.
Work for us.
Right. If they're looking at it, at least there's some hope of change happening.
Mm-hmm.
And with it being a foreign-owned entity, it could take longer than most people expect it to. But I guess the question is, do you feel like it's going to change anything?
If they unlock it?
Yeah.
I think at this point it's just a goodwill with the player
Yeah.
base. Because they launched this system on the slogan for the players.
Mm-hmm.
And as PlayStation's gone on, it's felt less like that.
Yeah.
We aren't getting the Sony that stood up on stage and directly took a sledgehammer to Microsoft's face at E3. That Sony's not around anymore. And it feels like there's an arrogance to PlayStation that is a little frightening because it's the same thing that happened around the launch of the PS3.
Mm-hmm.
That they were winning so handedly with PlayStation 2 that you forget.
Right.
And I don't want them to ever forget that they were Microsoft with PS3.
Yeah.
And Microsoft made the mistake that Sony made with Xbox One.
Yeah.
And Shuhei just posted something about it,
Yeah.
saying that, we've all made mistakes and we were there. It's like, okay, the company needs to show that they aren't closing themselves off to the players. It's like, my thing is, I get from a business standpoint where their shareholders want to see crossplay not a thing.
Right.
Because they don't want to see people spending money on others, whatever.
Mm.
But the biggest thing right now, and they're continuing to prove it, is that Sony has the games.
Yeah.
Sony has games. So if you unlock crossplay, you're not going to sell less consoles. And you're probably not going to sell less games. You'll probably sell more of these games on your console.
Even if you do see a slight decline in systems, you still are the system that has these games that you can only play on the system. So you would still need the PS4 to play these anyway.
And you still got them 2-1
right.
over Xbox.
So does the small potential dip in sales in systems by unlocking crossplay outweigh just the need to have the system to play these exclusives anyway? Like, I don't think someone's going to go to Xbox just to play Fortnite with a PS4 player.
Mm-hmm.
Or a Switch to play with a PS4 player.
They'd be more likely to go to Switch.
Right. But even
or
then,
even just on their phone now.
Yeah, that's true. Fortnite's on there.
Which they, at this point, they would have to be doing to play. I think opening up crossplay would help them financially.
Yeah.
But this is just a long string of things that they've done that just comes across as arrogant and not for the players. It's what they want for the players. Like their whole EA Access business.
Mm-hmm.
That was a purely business decision.
Yeah.
And doesn't make sense to me as a consumer because I don't want you telling me what you think is good value for me.
Right.
Let me make that choice if I think it's good value.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. We're getting to the point where we are coming up on the end of the console cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And Xbox, who I don't even know who wrote the article, but they said Xbox is playing the long game and they're playing to win.
Mm-hmm.
They're bringing up next gen now and they're building the consumer goodwill now.
Yeah.
So that they can really hit it out of the park with next gen.
Mm-hmm.
And Sony needs to tap into Sony of 2013 when they stood up on stage with the slide about used games.
Yeah.
And got the championship belts thrown at them from the crowd. Because it doesn't feel like old Sony. And it's frustrating.
Yeah.
Because they have everything else.
Right.
They don't need to be... And here's the thing. You're saying, like, being a primarily Japanese company.
Mm-hmm.
Where was that then in 2013?
Right.
Was that them just trying to capitalize on Microsoft shooting themselves in the foot with a shotgun?
Right.
Or because Sony was more playful all around back then.
If anything, it plays more into that, like, which one was making decisions at that given time. Which one was making these
America
for the
or
players.
Japan.
Right. Could Japan be the one that is very isolated and kind of enjoying the success, and then the American side was like, we need to make a move, and that's what 2013 was.
Yeah, because when you look at when Sony overall does their financials, they're very much upheld by a pillar that is PlayStation.
Yeah.
Sony America. This is huge for them.
It's their only.
So who should
profitable.
be making the calls?
Yeah.
It should be PlayStation.
Yeah.
And they should be.
I wonder how much of that was Andrew House at the time. I wonder how much of a hit that actually was. I know we have a younger leader in there now, so there's the potential for change.
Right.
I wonder how long until his power fully takes into effect.
But they've got good personalities all around.
Yeah, they have Sean Layden, they have Shuhei, they have a lot of personable people.
It's amazing to see how far Sean Layden's come.
Oh yeah.
From awkward hand guy his first year out to who he is now. He's a natural.
Yeah, he's out there doing his thing.
I love Shuhei.
Oh, Shuhei's the greatest.
But use those personalities. Xbox has got Phil Spencer, who's a great personality. And, is the right direction for Xbox. And the right guy to be their spokesman and head leading the charge. It's just as we're getting into talking more about next gen, hopefully Sony doesn't make those missteps.
Right. I'm sure Mark Cerny could do something about this crossplay stuff.
Apparently they filed a patent on being able to play PS3 games on PS4.
I did see that not so long ago.
Which would be really cool. Because now there's rumors that PS Now is going to offer a downloadable option, which is exactly what they need. And it could be just as good as Game Pass.
Yeah. Download. Like, you don't even have to ignore the big purchase of Gaikai. Like, download a portion of the game and then start playing right away and let it stream in the background while it downloads. Like,
yeah. That'd be awesome.
Or keep Gaikai for the older games and then let you fully download all of them, but take less away from the Gaikai portion for the newer games just so you can download them fully. Like, there's so many different uses you could utilize that Gaikai for, that streaming service. So hell, elaborate on that the same way Microsoft is with their potential streaming service. Like, I'm sure that they're going to utilize that in the long run.
Right.
Everyone seems to be going to streaming, so it's not like PS Now is a failure. It's just...
But it doesn't really seem to be working.
Right. How much of that is the internet infrastructure that we're in now, which everyone has blatantly said that we're not ready for full streaming yet, so we're working on it.
And it's not getting any better.
Right.
And that neutrality won't make it easier.
Right. So this could be all fruitless.
And I think Game Pass is so successful because of the download option.
Yeah.
So that and, first-party games on day one, that helps.
Right.
Because that's a big reason for Sea of Thieves. And then when Forza comes out, that'll be a big thing there.
Crackdown.
Yeah. And then Halo. I mean, you're getting all those awesome games. So they probably see that being really successful, and they want to do something to match it. Or compete.
Right.
In that field. Because you've got the games.
Right.
So if they can do a download option and start throwing in like Uncharted and Last of Us on it,
right,
they'll blow the doors wide open.
Right, at this point, who cares if you're copying? Like, if you have the games to make up for it. That's something that they don't have.
It's the reason you're winning.
Right.
Use it.
That was E3.
It was. We got a good year coming up. Good rest of the year.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff coming out this year. Still waiting on some dates for some of the other bigger things, but 2019 is going to be just as big, if not bigger. As long as all these things come out around that time. So
yeah, September's going to be a big month, and then Red Dead.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
The most important release is in a week and a half. No Man's Sky is getting its next update. No Man's Sky next.
That's the thing.
Yes. Fingers crossed for VR. That's all I care about.
I mean, that'd be cool.
Fuck everything else. I just want VR. I want VR in everything now. God of War in VR.
Oh, I don't know.
It would look like 1996 polygons, but like...
Just those boss battles, I don't know how you would do in VR.
You piss yourself, that's what you would do.
I mean...
See that troll come up in front of you? You would piss yourself.
I just don't know how they would do it in VR. Like, are you Kratos' eyes and you're seeing everything that he sees? Because goddamn, the scale of some of that shit,
right.
Like that snake, the world serpent coming at you,
you would piss yourself
in first person. No,
they don't even have to worry about mechanics because you wouldn't be able to do anything. You just have to stand there and get pummeled because you're not Kratos.
That thing's voice was just so unnerving.
Right.
It wasn't scary. It was just like I don't like hearing you talk.
That's unnatural. That's not. That's very low.
Your lips are moving. You're a snake. You're talking to this head.
I'm very excited for the rest of the year, though. This is a very good year for gaming. Here's to more of that.
Cheers. That was episode 68. The old GGP. This is Vaughn.
Chris.
And we'll be back in 2 weeks. So, bye.